start tonight. You fill my soul with light the day we met.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Here's one more build before Citrine's Last Wish, the newest Warframe update we'll learn about on Friday's dev stream, the 27th. Today's video is a throwback to Styanax at launch, an ode to those that miss when we could have infinite energy with Emergence Dissipate and spamming his final stand spears forever. The hover build, the Spartan build, whatever you want to call it. Today, we unnerf Styanax and bring him back to his former glory. Yes, this is a Nourish build, but with some careful balancing. But the beauty is in its simplicity of use, satisfaction, and near invincibility in the face of Steel Path. Styanax's kit has been gutted over the past 4 months since its release. His 4 no longer interacts with elements. This was a temporary bug that was immediately patched out on launch, preventing you from casting Shock Trooper, Nourish, etc. on it. This means Nourish's viral damage buff does not stick to his 4, but that doesn't matter because Nourish brings a lot more to the table today than just that, whether directly or by proxy. His 4 is also no longer spammable until you land after each cast. You also can't cast other abilities anymore while in his 4. They also never fixed the smart aim on his 1, where it can sometimes still miss enemies. Also, sometimes it spears enemies and still fails to do its suck. I was really hopeful for DE tidying up the issues on his 1 and make it that the standout ability could have been as a grouping tool, but alas, this was not to be. So today, I've chosen to subsume over his 1. You don't need to group up enemies if you're spamming your 4 constantly everywhere already. You have the freedom of movement with your 4 active, so hitting enemies around and behind you isn't an issue. Let's take a look at that Styanax build. We're running a brief respite build today. Yes, it's another shield gate build, but don't fret, it has very low maintenance. You shield gate naturally by just playing the game. No fancy awareness shenanigans required or dedicated crowd control abilities needed to survive. You just spam your 4 everywhere and kill everything in sight. So how does this work? Notice this rank 5 blind rage. I intentionally ran it low rank to show alternatives. This build eventually reaches 376 strength after Molt Augmented is fully stacked. This is important because at 376 strength, every kill while your 3 is active regenerates 188 shields, which is the exact amount of shields Styanax has with a Decay Dragon key equipped. You can reach this benchmark with Madurai's Sling Strength buff for plus 40% and Molt Augmented for another plus 60%. The best thing about this build is how it fixes all of Styanax's problems. In the past, I showcased a roar-focused build to maximize damage output on him while maintaining survivability. The problem was energy issues limiting how high strength I could slot. Nourish makes it so that I can fully commit to strength, and the build has so much that it actually matches the DPS of the roar build, but without roar, and infinite energy, and extra crowd control, and easy AoE priming. Brief Respite combined with 2 Augur mods, Augur Secrets and 1 on our pistol grants us 230% energy to shield conversion. Casting our 3 or 4 costs enough energy in this build to fully regenerate our shields. If you didn't want to use Madurai, then you can just max rank Blind Rage to compensate for not having Sling Strength. Then your efficiency is low enough that even casting Nourish also fully restores your shields. That's the other thing. Nourish and Rally Point are recastable and snapshot current buffs on cast. This means you can always replace Nourish or Rally Point with a stronger version if you didn't have Sling Strength up or less Molt Augmented stacks active. This is particularly important because the build is fine-tuned to cap out at restoring 188 shields per kill with your 3 active. If you miscast without Sling Strength, you can just activate it and recast the Refresher 3 to the proper scaling. Primed Flow gives you that super large energy bank so you can spam abilities with impunity. You can even cast your 4 twice without Nourish active by accident and still manage to recover and reset your buffs. Arcane Arachne is a 30-second buff that grants all weapons, including abilities that are considered weapons, and also Styanax's old 4 that is treated as a non-weapon weapon, a plus 150% base damage buff. This is multiplicative with strength, so it's basically a 2.5 times damage multiplier. Vigorous Swap also works the same for plus 165%. You can trigger it by swapping between melee and ADS. Meleeing out of Operator Madurai is normal these days, and ADSing afterwards before casting your 4 can proc it. Otherwise, just alternate between melee and cast 4, ADS and cast 4, melee and cast 4, ADS and cast 4. It's pretty simple really to keep it up forever. Prime Sure-Footed is pretty self-explanatory, and this flex slot depends on what you want to do. For endurance, I recommend rolling guard since your shields will break constantly. It's good for removing status procs from XMI units or bad situations. For Bestial Path, adaptation works better due to constant shield regen on kill and cast. Also, here's the important bit. When you cast your 4, the Spectres do not care what happens. Mania can knock you with the lifted status, which is not prevented by Prime Sure-Footed, but as long as you casted your 4 first, your Spectres will still kill Mania, even while your body flails helplessly. And if it's somehow still not dead, you will also throw your spears upon unragdolling. Because the hitbox is so wide and can still be aimed while you are lifted, you can still kill trash enemies other than the Acolyte during your ragdoll to activate your 3's shield regen on kill and prevent Mania from killing you. Also, Tharros Strike doesn't care about iframes. You got an Acolyte that iframed an attack? Tharros Strike still rips all their armor and shields off. There's nothing the game can throw at you that can stop you from killing things with your 4. That's it. Weapons today. Primary doesn't matter, bring whatever you want so long as it has Amalgam Serration equipped to move around faster. Pistol, I brought an Epitaph as an AoE primer because our 4 does AoE DPS. It has such a big AoE that I ran Prime Fulmination on our Epitaph to get the most bang for our buck. Though it's also not even really needed to shoot this on Bestial Path, as you can see. Bring at least 1 Augur mod so that we have enough shield regen on casting our 3 or 4 to fully reset our shields. Otherwise, it's a basic viral radiation build to prime and crown control enemies. Melee doesn't matter. I brought Praetos for the plus 30% parkour speed and because it's a fast swing melee to proc Vigorous swap. Otherwise, bring your favorite fast swinging melee. Focus schools, I recommend Madurai for Sling Strength plus 40% buff and Power Transfer for plus 50% cast speed. Otherwise, you can outsource casting speed and strength from Archon shards, as well as just ranking up Blind Rage further. The Panzer build is irrelevant because we don't get energy from it. You don't die and you don't need its viral procs. But yeah, this is what I use normally, because the biggest thing here that matters is enemy radar and vacuum. Hell, you can even bring your Smita for better loot this time. Cheers! If this is your first time watching, feel free to leave a like or better yet subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. 79.5% of you are not subscribed. I'm trying my best to get you new information out always as soon as possible like I've done with the Lewis Prey update. Stick around if you want to see interesting memes and builds on a nearly daily basis, as well as information on Citrine's last wish. You don't want to miss out on any of that, do you? And that'll be it for this video. Thank you all for watching and see you all next time.